Now, Cynthia Mulligan is joining us with more on what's happening with the province and Premier Doug Ford stepping forward again today. Cynthia.
That's right, Mark. And in that news conference, as John Tory revealed, his emergency command team was given a report which projected how many people will die in Toronto and Ontario if the surge is not contained. And the window to do that, to contain the surge, is getting narrower. Premier Doug Ford also echoed the mayor's concerns, saying we are facing, quote, a ruthless enemy.
My friends, the hard truth is, right now, today, there's very little separating what we will face here in Ontario from the devastation we've seen in Italy and Spain. And these next 2 weeks will be absolutely critical because we know a surge is coming.
But the Premier would not release those projection numbers that clearly has the city and very many so concerned. He was asked 4 times today to do so, and this was the Premier's final response.
Those models can drastically change. If we underestimate on one side and we overestimate on the other and create a panic if we overestimate. But the facts is very clear. We're going through turbulent waters. We've been saying it over and over again. Make sure that you don't congregate.
The province's chief medical officer of health later said he hopes to have more concise modelling next week before releasing any numbers. In the meantime, Toronto's top doctor is calling on the province to shut down more essential business. Premier Ford, Dr. Davila today said that she is doing everything she can in her powers. You have even more power to shut things down while we're waiting for this surge. One of the things that she asked for is for the province to close more businesses that are at this point deemed essential. Construction is a big one. Why aren't you shutting down construction and more businesses to try and flatten this curve?
Well, that's being reviewed absolutely every day. I've said, Cynthia, we're going to be adjusting that list. You'll hear that in the next day or so. And let's talk about the construction out there. We had 300 inspections over the last few days. We've shut down 3 sites. We've sent out 160 orders to comply, and I won't hesitate to shut down any single site. We also have to keep in mind, once you hit one trigger, it affects 10 other triggers, and the supply chain is long when it comes to making sure we have food in the retail grocery chains. It's absolutely critical we keep that supply chain going.
And the Premier also announced a $50 million fund for companies to retool their operations so they can manufacture essential medical supplies like masks and ventilators. And the need is clearly growing. Yesterday, there were 125 people in intensive care units with 82 on ventilators. Today, those numbers grew to 145 in ICU and 98 on ventilators.